This is a brand new manhwa with only 4 chapters released so far. This recap covers everything that happens in chapter 1. If you enjoy it, comment part 2, and I'll cover the next chapter. And don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss it. The world of the painting forest is one where internal energy flows through a brush to bring drawings to life. Both orthodox and unorthodox sects have developed their own distinct forms of this art, and the medium applied to the brush determines how the power manifests. Countless styles and abilities intertwine to form the martial world, a place known as the world of the painting forest. A duel is already underway. 2 fighters clash with tremendous force, the impact between them scattering debris in every direction. One of them, a rough-looking man gripping a weapon, finds satisfaction in his opponent's performance, but remains confident that the limits of her painting art have already been reached. The young woman opposite him burns with fury. A flaming symbol ignites at the tip of her weapon as she unleashes a technique called the brush sword barrage, pressing forward with relentless slashing strikes. She then leaps into the air and activates a devastating ability, the bursting lotus. A massive explosion of fire engulfs her opponent on the ground below. At this point, Huang Wei was probably reconsidering every life choice that led him to this particular battlefield. From nearby, 2 figures watch the duel from a seated position at a table. One of them, a young man in blue robes with bright, eager eyes, is utterly transfixed. The display before him is captivating beyond words. The woman is Hong Chai-won, a painter whose art ignites fire by layering red ink over water. Her opponent is Huang Wei, who channels a sharp and aggressive painting art through dry, rough brushstrokes. The young man at the table marvels at the privilege of witnessing such high-level techniques firsthand. To him, this tournament, the Dragon and Phoenix Assembly, is the ultimate classroom. For Mu Yang, this wasn't entertainment. This was basically a 4-year university lecture with people trying to kill each other. His dream is clear and burning. One day, he intends to stand on that very stage and display his own painting art before the world. But his reverie is shattered by a sharp reprimand from behind. An older man seated nearby furiously demands to know why the young servant is standing idle instead of pouring tea. The older man is outraged that a lowly servant dared to watch the duel at all. Mu Yang immediately snaps back to his duties, stammering an apology, and reaching for the teapot. The older man dismisses him with contempt. Apparently, watching people throw supernatural fireballs was above a servant's pay grade. Tea, however, was apparently a matter of national security. Alone again in his thoughts, Mu Yang acknowledges that he lost himself in the moment again. The scene shifts. A silver-haired young nobleman turns to the servant and poses a quiet question, noting that the next Dragon and Phoenix Assembly is approaching and that the servant had better have been paying close attention. The nobleman then makes his expectations plain. Mu Yang will stand on that stage the following year and demonstrate the grand prestige of their family, the Qianyo Huang family. Disappointment, he makes clear, is not an option. The older patriarch of the family is then shown in full. Huang Haiyanbaek, patriarch of the Qianyo Huang family. The silver-haired young man responds with composed deference, committing the patriarch's words to memory. He is Huang Wei, young master of the Qianyo Huang family. Watching from behind, Mu Yang reflects on who Huang Wei truly is. He is the direct heir of the Huang family, the one who carries the expectations of the entire orthodox faction. At the next Dragon and Phoenix Assembly, Huang Wei is expected to display a painting art more brilliant than anyone else's. Mu Yang watches the young master with open longing. The freedom to display one's painting art before the entire world fills him with deep envy. He possesses so many painting arts of his own, so many things he desperately wants to show the world. Later that night, Mu Yang crouches in his small room surrounded by sheets of paper covered in ink drawings. His frustration is evident. Everything he has painted lately feels too similar to everything else. He considers referencing the brush pressure he observed from the master's 4th match earlier in the day. Before he can continue, another servant appears at the door and orders him to go clean the young master's library immediately. Mu Yang obeys without hesitation. Inside the library, he lets out a quiet sigh as he looks around the orderly room. His gaze falls upon a particular object, something that has been stored in this room for years yet still shines with the brilliance of white jade. He picks it up carefully, turning it over in his hands. The object is revealed to be the Huang family's greatest treasure. A brush of extraordinary quality. Mu Yang wonders what it would feel like to perform painting art with such an instrument. A small, helpless smile crosses his face. The desire to try it, even once, is almost unbearable. He stares at that brush like it is the legendary weapon every protagonist spends 300 chapters trying to unlock. His thoughts are interrupted by a voice from somewhere nearby. A voice he recognizes as belonging to the elder master. The voice is sharp with anger. Mu Yang tenses, quietly wondering what has provoked such fury. Through the door, the conversation between the elder and Huang Wei gradually becomes audible. The elder's verdict on the young master's work is precise and unsparing. The lines are good. The strength is good. The technique is absolutely flawless. However, the problem lies in creativity. The young master's painting, as it currently stands, is nothing more than a perfect imitation. If Huang Wei enters the assembly in this condition, the elder warns, he will become a laughingstock. Huang Wei receives the criticism in silence, offering a quiet apology to his master. The elder's expression softens slightly. He acknowledges that he lost his temper out of impatience, and that the rudeness was his own failing. Huang Wei accepts the apology graciously and suggests the elder set aside the brush for the rest of the day. The elder agrees and encourages the young master to rest as well. The conversation ends. Mu Yang, still crouched outside the door, trembles with burning curiosity. The fact that the elder became that angry raises a single consuming question in his mind. What exactly is wrong with the young master's painting? The room falls quiet. Mu Yang takes the opportunity and slips inside. The young master has left. Mu Yang moves toward the desk and discovers the painting. The level of completion is extraordinary. He studies the work carefully, turning over what feels like a familiar sensation. Parts of the image remind him of something he has seen before. The answer surfaces slowly. The brush techniques visible in the young master's painting match those Mu Yang has studied extensively in the Huang clan's library. Of course, copying others' techniques is the natural starting point of any artistic education. But the young master's painting carries that flaw to its extreme. It appears to be an assembly of copy techniques with no personal interpretation layered beneath them. There is no sign of the painter himself anywhere in the work. Mu Yang is still deep in thought when a voice cuts through the silence behind him. Huang Wei has not left after all. He stands in the library doorway, his green eyes calm and unreadable. And there it was, the exact moment Mu Yang's soul left his body without waiting for permission. Mu Yang, completely caught off guard, throws himself to the floor in a desperate apology. He begs forgiveness for entering without permission and for assuming the young master had gone. Huang Wei does not address the apology. Instead, he repeats his original question. What does Mu Yang think of the painting? Mu Yang, still pressed against the floor, protests that someone of his station could never presume to judge the young master's work. Huang Wei disregards this deflection entirely. He notes that Mu Yang has been in his service for 10 years. And during all that time, including multiple dragon and phoenix assemblies, Mu Yang consistently volunteered to serve guests in the seats closest to the dueling stage. Huang Wei found it obvious that Mu Yang chose those positions specifically to observe the duels as closely as possible. The sparkle in Mu Yang's eyes while watching the fights, and the way his lips moved silently as he absorbed every detail, were not the behaviors of someone with no interest in painting arts. Mu Yang realizes with embarrassment that his fascination had been visible all along. He admits that he simply could not contain himself. Huang Wei clarifies his reason for asking. He has no interest in flattery. He wanted the opinion of someone who is genuinely passionate about painting arts. Faced with such directness, Mu Yang finally raises his head slightly and speaks with careful humility. In the young master's painting, he cannot see the young master himself. He means this not as an insult to technique, which is already extraordinary, but as an observation about intention. Mu Yang believes that every line drawn on paper must carry a purpose. A painting made with perfect technical execution can still feel hollow if the painter's own thoughts are absent from it. Huang Wei processes this quietly. Then he poses a counter. Huang Wei asks whether that is indeed the case. Mu Yang begins to answer. Then he catches himself. He immediately collapses back into a panicked denial. How could a servant of his position dare to practice painting arts? Huang Wei's expression becomes sharp and precise. If that is truly the case, then there should not be a single painting in Mu Yang's room. Mu Yang goes very still. Night has fallen. The implications of what Huang Wei knows settle over Mu Yang like cold water. In his mind, the situation feels terminal. The paintings hidden in his room, the ones created using ink, brushes, and paper discarded by the young master, represent a capital offense for a house slave. He had come so close to a dream he was never supposed to touch. And now it appears he will be destroyed before ever reaching it. But Huang Wei does not move to punish him. Instead, the young master surveys the scattered paintings on the floor of Mu Yang's room. He asks whether this is all of them. Mu Yang confirms that it is. Huang Wei crouches down and examines the works one by one. They lack polish, as one might expect. But the foundation beneath the rough surface is solid. What strikes the young master most deeply, however, is something he did not anticipate. The style is unlike anything he has ever seen among the orthodox sections. The paintings carry a quality that is genuinely unique. Huang Wei then asks why Mu Yang has been painting all this time. Mu Yang hesitates. After a pause, he admits, with the careful phrasing of someone who knows how far beyond his station he is reaching, that he wants to become an artist of the painting forest. Huang Wei asks simply why. Mu Yang's answer unfolds quietly and honestly. When he first entered the Huang family's service as a slave and witnessed his first martial arts tournament, the way the artists of the painting forest used their abilities struck him like nothing he had ever experienced. They looked as though they were freely expressing their will to the world. At that moment, something bloomed inside him that he had no name for. Life in the Huang family was not harsh in itself. But it felt like a life already decided for him. A path laid out with no room for anything to be his own. He watched a bird move freely through the open sky. He wanted to leave something of himself in this vast world. To carve some meaning into a life that otherwise felt predetermined. Huang Wei listens to the end without interrupting. Then he addresses the servant by name. Mu Yang. Mu Yang looks up, his expression suspended between hope and dread. Huang Wei acknowledges that what Mu Yang has done deserves the severest punishment. But the young master cannot deny what the paintings have stirred in him. Looking at them fills him with inspiration of a kind he cannot simply set aside. The offer that follows is precise, cold, and extraordinary. Mu Yang will continue to paint for the young master. If Huang Wei ascends to the position of patriarch with Mu Yang's contribution, he will grant the servant his freedom from slavery. Mu Yang's shock is total. He cannot find the words. He barely manages to confirm that the young master is serious. Something shifts in his expression. The fear recedes. A fierce certainty takes its place. He can do this. His voice rises with sudden, overwhelming conviction. He will paint with everything he has. Huang Wei reminds him, with quiet amusement, to keep his voice down. It is the middle of the night. The training that follows is depicted through a single montage of seasons. The two of them move through natural landscapes together. Rocky cliffs. Open skies. Autumn mountainsides. Rivers cutting through stone valleys. Mu Yang paints outdoors while Huang Wei observes. For years pass. The assembly grounds return to view, grander than before. A grand elder in formal robes makes the stakes of the day known. The painting demonstration about to take place will determine whether the young master is stripped of his title within the family. Huang Wei stands in the center of the arena. Mu Yang watches from the side, concealing his nerves poorly. He admits to himself that the tension is affecting him, partly because this is also the first time he will see the young master's painting art performed in person. The question gnaws at him. Did the paintings he created over 4 years actually help? Huang Wei raises his brush. The energy that flows from him is immediate and commanding. An observer in the crowd notes with admiration that the level of mastery being displayed is remarkable for someone of Huang Wei's age. The patriarch watches and is moved. He praises Elder Hyan Du, who accepts the compliment with deep gratitude. But Mu Yang's attention has gone elsewhere entirely. Something has pulled it like a hook. What Huang Wei is performing in the arena, those techniques, Mu Yang recognizes them. The names surface in the narration as witnesses observe the phenomena unfolding. White moon cloud flow. A sweeping movement led by a luminous circular form. Crashing wave galaxy. A constellation of light born from the turbulent spray of colliding waves. Both techniques are identified by an onlooker as ones they know. Ones they created. Those are paintings Mu Yang made. The patriarch is deeply impressed. He tells Huang Wei that painting techniques of such originality have never crossed his eyes before and asks where the young master found his inspiration. Huang Wei deflects modestly, acknowledging that his skills remain imperfect. He then states, with complete composure, that all of these creations are entirely his own original work. And just like that, Huang Wei unlocked a new technique, academic theft. Mu Yang, standing at the edge of the arena, finds that he cannot sleep that night. The betrayal settles through him slowly and completely. He had believed the arrangement was a fair one. He would paint. Huang Wei would draw inspiration. He had not understood that Huang Wei intended to claim the paintings themselves as his own creations. The promise of freedom still exists on paper. But those paintings represent everything Mu Yang is. They are not just works of art. They are his identity. The thought of anyone taking that from him becomes unbearable. He cannot stay still. He moves through the night toward Huang Wei's quarters. The door opens. Huang Wei is already there. And he is not alone. The young master stands flanked by guards. A blade is in his hand. He notes that Mu Yang was cherished. Then he names the crime. Attempting to steal the young master's paintings. The punishment Huang Wei delivers is immediate and final. Mu Yang is to be executed here and now. So much for the wholesome master-disciple arc. Apparently, they skipped straight to the betrayal season.